Driving into the future. How Tesla Motors and Elon Musk did it. The disruption of the auto industry. Written by Akdeniz. Narrated by Andrea Ericson. Introduction. When Henry Ford released the Ford Model A in 1903, the world already knew what automobiles were. But for the vast majority of people throughout America and the world, an automobile was considered a luxury that they could not afford, and was even considered by some to be a fad. Suffice to say, Ford didn't scrap his dreams of creating the vehicle of the future, but instead spent the next 5 years working through a wide range of prototypes until he eventually reached the Model T, the most famous automobile in history. The release of the Model T, which was suddenly affordable for the masses, signaled the beginning of an entirely new generation of consumer access and began the massive explosion of a new industry that still holds considerable clout today. The entire trajectory of automotive history, both within the United States and around the world, was shaped by the vision of Henry Ford, a confident, bold thinker who had learned about hard work and personal motivation from an early age. He couldn't have known that his approach to consumer manufacturing would spur an entire movement, Fordism, that was attached to the new wave of mass production that the assembly line style at his Ford factory inspired. He couldn't have possibly fathomed what he was giving birth to. He probably saw the achievements of the movement and even the long-term goals, but the ongoing scope and scale of his impact would have been beyond his wildest dreams. We often think of great thinkers and innovators as setting goals that they eventually achieve, but in truth, the largest leaps forward for our society have often happened accidentally or unexpectedly, delivering us something we desperately needed, though we didn't even know we wanted it. Most disruptive innovations are precisely that, a revolutionary way to simplify life, a means of expanding human potential, or a tool to change the world as we know it. Some ambitious, confident visionaries may achieve precisely what they set out to do, but along the road of creation, things often change. What Henry Ford didn't know in the early 20th century was that a century after his game-changing Model T, the global population would have more than tripled to over 7 billion souls, that there would be more than 1 billion cars on the planet, and that climate change as a result of carbon emissions would be threatening the future of our species. That might sound dramatic, but to deny that climate change and carbon emissions are linked is simply no longer an option. Henry Ford set out to create a car for the masses, and he did, but not even his foresight could have predicted the events of the past century. It is often said that great ideas are born of desperate times, and as the 21st century rolls along, it's quite a different place than the automobile-free landscape of a century ago. Something clearly needs to change. Fortunately, as social consciousness continues to improve and scientific thought is being heard by the many rather than the few, we are beginning to see shifts in philosophy. Attention is being paid to new sectors, and entire new industries are springing to life, largely to correct the mistakes of industries that similarly blossomed in previous centuries. Energy production and consumption is big business on our planet. For the better part of the last century, it seems that the world has been drunk on oil, burning fossil fuels as quickly as they can be found.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?